Welcome to my video. In this video, I will be ranking Taylor Swift albums from last to first. These will all be based on personal preferences, so if you don't agree, you can just go ahead and leave your own rankings down below in the comments. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start my rankings. And in 10th place, we have Debut. Now, there are two main reasons why Debut is ranked so low. The first reason is a personal preference. I'm not the biggest fan of country music. Now, Taylor has always been an exception to this rule. I'll listen to music regardless of what genre it's in. However, this is her most country album, and that's the reason why it's ranked so low. The next reason is I don't believe this album is her best body of work. This is mostly because it's her debut album that she wrote when she was only 16 years old, which is insane if you actually sit down and listen to this album and see the variety of different topics. She writes about heartbreak, she writes about having a crush, she writes about being a loner or an outsider. An outsider is probably a better word because she has a song called The Outside and A Place in This World, which I related to so much when I was a kid. And she also has some amazing storytelling songs with Mary's song, Oh My My My, and with Tied Together with a Smile, which is such a beautiful song. And I also really love the singles. I love Tim McGraw. Picture to Burn is my favorite song from that album. And Teardrops in My Guitar is just such an excellent song. However, it's ranked last because like I said, I don't believe this is her best body of work. So. And in 9th place, we have Lover. Now, I do feel kind of bad for ranking this album so low. It is an album she first fully owned, so I believe that's a big achievement for Taylor. However, I just wasn't that big of a fan of this album. One of the things that I didn't like the most were the singles that she chose. I wasn't that big of a fan of Me. In fact, that's one of my least favorite songs of hers overall. And I wasn't that big of a fan of You Need to Calm Down. I believe that there were better songs that could have been made into singles. There are so many really good songs in this album. I really love Death by a Thousand Cuts. I love Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. I love Cruel Summer. Oh my god, do I love Cruel Summer. I mourn the death of that music video every day because I knew that we were going to get one, but unfortunately we didn't, so that's sad. But yeah, this album was ranked at 9th place because of personal preferences, and I do believe that in comparison her other bodies of work were better. So, and in 8th place, we have Fearless. Now, I love Fearless. Fearless was the album that introduced me to Taylor. I remember being 8 years old and singing You Belong With Me and Love Story like crazy. I was obsessed with those two songs. However, looking back, it's just one of the albums I go back to the least. Now that Taylor released her version, I do listen to it a bit more, but before that, I almost never listened to this album. So even though it is a good album, it's just an album that I personally don't really like to listen to a lot. I do love a lot of the songs from this era. The Way I Loved You, excellent song. I love that song. Now that Taylor released it, it rekindled my love for that song, and I listened to that on repeat. And I love Mr. Perfectly Fine. That being released from the vault was perfect. I love that song. But overall, this album it's just an album I don't go back to, so I don't think it's fair to rank it any higher than it is. So, and in 7th place, we have Evermore. Now, it's safe to say that Evermore might be Taylor's own least favorite album, considering that she really likes to ignore it. I believe it's a joke in the Swiftie community that Evermore is her least favorite child, if her albums were her children. But yeah, I don't really have anything really positive or negative to say. I mean, I do have positive things to say. I do love all of Taylor's albums, but obviously I'm making this ranking video, so I do prefer some more than the others. And I just feel like this album is too much like Folklore. I love it when albums feel different. That's how Taylor intended it. She wanted to be a sister album to Folklore, so it's supposed to be similar to Folklore. Oh, sorry, I can't speak. I'm just kind of indifferent toward it in comparison to other albums. I do love a lot of the songs on there. I love Gold Rush. I love Ivy. I love Nobody No Crime and Champagne Problems. I was listening to that song on repeat when the album came out. So yeah, it still has a lot of good songs on it, but it's just personally ranked at number 7 for me. And in 6th place we have, to no surprise, Folklore. Now, I'm just going to make this quick and easy. It's basically for the same reasons as Evermore. I'm just kind of sort of indifferent toward these two albums. I'm just more of I'm a bigger fan of her pop albums. I'm going to name you some of my favorite songs from this album, since I've been doing that with all of her albums. And I love This Is Me Trying, I love The One, and Illicit Affairs. And in 5th place we have Red. Now, Red is a great album. It truly is. I didn't even know it was ranked this low for me until I was like writing it down. There's just some things that I don't like about it. The main thing is the singles. A lot like Lover, I wasn't a big fan of 2 of the singles. And those were We Are Never Getting Back Together and I almost said Me Again, sorry. 22. Now, I love those songs. Well, that isn't true. We're Never Getting Back Together is probably one of my least favorite Taylor Swift songs. However, I understand why those songs did well and why I used to really like them. I was 13 when this album came out, so obviously my mind was different. But now as like an older person, I just don't prefer those songs anymore. And looking back, I'm not a big fan of singles, which is the reason why it kind of went down for me in the rankings, were the singles. However, I do love a lot of the songs on there. I love Sad, Beautiful, Tragic, I love Holy Ground, I love Begin Again, and it's overall a great album, but it is ranked 5th for me. And in 4th place, we have none other than Midnights. Now, Midnights is a very new album. It just came out a few months ago, at least at the time of me filming this, and I'm pretty curious to see if it'll stay in 4th place or if it'll go higher or lower, because I feel like I need at least like a year or 2 for me to fully feel the album. And this album also only has, as of right now, 2 singles, Anti-Hero and Bejeweled, and we're still waiting for the Lavender Haze music video, and we could get more. Hopefully, I would love to get more music videos from Taylor. Maybe she's filming them in between rehearsing for her new tour. But yeah, it's in 4th place for me as of right now. I love this album. It's so good. I really, really love Maroon, You're On Your Own Kid, and Anti-Hero really slapped me in the face. I have never related more to a Taylor song in ever. Like, actually, I do relate to some of her songs, but yeah, that's the song that really slapped me in the face. Like, oh, I relate to every single lyric that you wrote in this, Taylor, and I just love that song. So that's why, and that's my Midnights ranking. And in 3rd place with bronze is 1989. Now, this album and the album at number 2 flip-flop every day, but today 1989 got 3rd place. This album is so iconic. Everyone knows this album. Everyone. Even if you're not a Swiftie, even if you don't like Taylor, you know songs from this album. You know Shake It Off. You know Blank Space. You just do. And yeah, this album is so iconic. I could not rank this any lower than 3rd, at least in my opinion. And yeah, I love this. I love the sound on this album. I love New Romantics. I love Wonderland, and I love Bad Blood, which is an unpopular opinion, but I don't know, I just love that song. That was my, kind of like, I used to be a tennis player, and that song was what I would listen to like, before every game. That wasn't, which probably says a lot about me, but yeah, that was like one of my all-time favorite songs, and it still is. So yeah, and this album does have a nostalgic factor for me, because I was a sophomore, I was entering sophomore year of high school, when this album came out, and yeah, that really helped me through sophomore and junior year, and into senior year. So yeah. Sorry for the lighting change. So in 2nd place, getting silver is Reputation. I love this album. Like I said, it flip-flops between 1st and 2nd place. Not 1st and 2nd. And 2nd and 3rd with 1989 all the time. And yeah, I had so much fun listening to this album. I listen to this album like every day. I believe it's my most listened to Taylor Swift album. And yeah, I feel like a big reason why I like this album is because of the long wait between 1989 and Reputation. And I really love the track listings. I love the singles that she came out. I think those were released very well. And I also, like I said, I also love the track listings. I love This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. I love Dress. I'm glad that song went viral on TikTok. And I also love Gorgeous. I believe Gorgeous was actually a single. But yeah, it's one of the songs that I actually relate to with Taylor. And like I said, I don't always relate to her songs. I listen to her more for lyrics, but yeah, it's gorgeous and amazing song. It's an amazing album, so it gets number 2. And in first place, we have, if you've done the math, Speak Now. Now, I know I said that I don't like country albums, and this song is technically a country album. However, it sounds more like a pop album to me. I'm probably wrong. It is a country album, but it just feels more pop to me, which is the reason why I love it so much. And yeah, this song is ranked for, this album is ranked first because I just love every single song. Like, this album means so much to me because I think it's because it was the first album. Taylor had the first song that I ever cried to. Ever. And that's when I realized how good of a songwriter she was. And that song was Innocent. Like, I remember I just started crying when I heard that song at like 11 or 10 years old. And that was way before I could even understand like what she was even singing about. So the fact that it made me cry at that age, incredible. And I just love the singles. It's such an underrated album. And the fact that she wrote every single song by herself is incredible. Like, and that's a big album too. I don't remember the track listing, but it was big. So yeah, that's my favorite album. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again soon.